So today we shall try to understand the singer Prebisch thesis. A proper understanding of this thesis requires understanding couple of linked concepts which actually help in explaining this thesis. So I shall try my best to give you that idea. So let's start. First thing, the question is, what does a country's exports depend on? So I will say exports of country A is a function of income of the foreign country and income elasticity of demand for the country A's product and price elasticity of demand for country A's product and some other factors that I am not interested into right now. So okay, now we have got this. Now, similarly, the question, what does a country's imports depend on? So, imports will be represented by M. Imports of country A are a function of home income, that is country A's income, and income elasticity of demand for the product of the country B and price elasticity of demand for the product of the country B and so on. Okay, so now we have got this. Next thing that we need to ask is that uh, we need to decide first one of the country, that is the advanced one. So let country A is the advanced country or developed country and country B is the developing country. Okay, so now for the developed country, what its exports will comprise mainly of. So for the country A, exports are mainly manufactured goods, and then services, and services also the higher end services. So the services for which the income elasticity of demand is more than one. Manufactured goods are also generally the goods which are sophisticated ones. So for both of these we will have income elasticity of demand for country A's product is greater than 1. Okay, so now the price elasticity of demand for country A's product will also be relatively elastic. Okay, now on the other hand, for the developing country, that is the country B, its exports will be majorly of primary produce. And we know that income elasticity of demand for primary produce is less than 1, and also the price elasticity of demand for the primary produce, that is the product of the country B, will be less than 1. So now how do we know about this income elasticity of demand for goods of country A is more than 1, while that for country B is less than 1? So here we require one concept that is called Engel's law. So let us talk about Engel's law. So what I am going to do, I am going to partition it like this. Okay, so now Engel's law. So Engel's law says that as the income increases, the proportion of income spent on food decreases, though the total expenditure on food still keeps on increasing. So I will actually show this through a plot. So let's quickly draw this. So we will have one axis like this, another one like this, and then I also need them actually little rightward. So I'm going to take them here. Yes, that's good. So this is total expenditure on food. This is income. So Engel's law will say that this will actually keep on increasing like this. Okay, so you see that it's increasing at a decreasing rate. Okay, fine. Now the second part, So this is proportion oh, proportion of expenditure on food. Means out of my total budget, what proportion I am spending on food income. This will have a very clear cut declining trend. So you see that even though I am increasing my total expenditure on food as income is increasing, the proportion of expenditure on food as a proportion of my total budget, total income is decreasing. So this is about food thing. So now food is a primary produce. So this is about all the necessities. So now you see that the countries which are developing, they specialize in produce that is primary produce and follows this particular Engel's law. So it means as the income of the foreign country will increase, exports of the developing countries will not grow as fast as the demand for the manufactured goods, that will be the import of the developing country, will grow. So it means there will be a divergence between the exports and imports. So now with this we can write it. As the income of the foreign country shall grow over time, the exports of B shall not increase in the same proportion. Reason: income elasticity of demand for B's produce is less than 1, and even if the price of these things become lesser, it becomes cheaper, still because the price elasticity of demand is also inelastic, there will be not much demand for country B's produce, and country B's export is country A's import, that is the advanced country. So we can say that the imports of the country A shall not increase much in future, or it will actually decrease. So alternatively we can say that the imports of country A shall not increase over time. So now talk about the imports done by the developing country. So imports of the developing country are nothing but exports of the developed country, advanced country. Now what is going to happen here? We see that as country B's income will also grow over time, as B's income grows over time, its income, population, whatever happened, demand for XA will also increase. Okay, but demand for XM will either remain constant or it will decrease. So what is going to happen? So now we introduce the concept of terms of trade in short, TOT. So this is simply the value of exports to the value of imports, or how many of units of exports shall be needed to buy 1 unit of the import. So now what is happening that for the developing country A, XA is increasing while MA is decreasing or constant. Okay, and for B, export of country B is either constant or decreasing while the imports of the country B is increasing. So overall, the value of this ratio is going to increase over time for the country A, and the value of this particular thing ratio is going to decrease for the country B. And if we look at as the terms of trade, that how the developing country will pay for its imports, so because it has to pay through its foreign earnings that it's getting from the exports, its exports are decreasing, so imports are increasing. So it's actually that exports are decreasing, imports are increasing. Ultimately the terms of trade will decrease for this, while the terms of trade will increase for this. So this is the reason we see that the developing countries face a secular decline in terms of trade, or we can also say it alternatively that the terms of trade will worsen for the developing countries over the long run. So this was the crux of the Singer-Prebisch thesis. So you see that it involves couple of concepts. First, you need to understand that what the exports depend on, what imports depend on, and then you need to understand that what the developing countries export, what developed countries, you need to understand what is the primary export of the developed countries and what is its income elasticity and price elasticity of demand, and also what is the exports of the developing countries and how this affects their income elasticity of demand and price elasticity of demand. Then you need to understand the idea of Engel's law. So through the Engel's law, you will realize that the imports of the developing country will increase faster than the imports of the developed country, while the exports of the developed country, which are also imports of the developing country, that will increase very fast compared to the exports of the developing country, that is also the imports of the developed country. This will lead to the terms of trade turning against the developing country. So this was all about the Singer-Prebisch thesis. Hope you liked it. If you have any question, any clarification, feel free to ask.